I will find my stimuli from anywhere and everywhere, and then I will get into what I call, and if anyone follows me, you'll kind of know I go on about this all the time, and it's my boiling pot method. So it's working down before I work across. It could be 8 bars, it could be 16 bars. The reason I do that is because I, like many people, have been guilty of starting to jam out a track, get a few cool elements in there, start to arrange, and then scratch my head and think, where do I go from here? And then you kill the flow, so then you have to go and look for a hi-hat for 3 hours. You get excited, you put that in, and you do this and that, and then you're scratching your head again. And it's just killing the creative flow because you're constantly looking for ingredients for the pot. So if you're a chef, you kind of get your ingredients together first, then you cook the meal, right? Well, some don't, they just improvise and go around. That's cool as well. But working down, for me, is so beneficial for many, many reasons. One, I'm collecting all my elements, and once I've done what I need to do, I just arrange it, job done. I don't have to sit there and stress about a sound that I haven't got. So while I'm doing this process, I'm mixing, I'm applying my EQs, I'm doing my parallel processing, I'm adding my effects, I'm making sure that it all works musically together. It's not to say that boiling pot will ever play together at the same time, but I know if it sounds good together, I can do what I want in the arrangement. Have you ever had those arrangements where you really want these two parts to go together and they don't quite gel for whatever reason? It might be a mix thing, it might be a musical thing. If I get that boiling pot in harmony, I can arrange a song in 10 minutes. I'm not sitting there spending a month on an arrangement. How many arrangement possibilities are there? You have 16 bar intro, 32 bar intro, okay, things can happen. 32 bar drop, something can happen in the middle, a little breakdown, second drop, outro. I don't need to be spending too much time on my arrangement because I don't like it. It's boring. I just want to finish the track. So if I can do this and get it all cool, some parts might go. I might add more parts, but I've got the crux of what I need there to start cooking my meal. So that's how I'll start. So I'll get my stimuli together. I'll go on a listening binge, listen to all this crazy music, jam out a boiling pot and arrange it. And that's the most productive way. And I've taught students from school to master's degree level, and one of the most common problems is not having enough ingredients before you try to create the journey of the track, and you're constantly backtracking, trying to find things. What you'll find with this as well is something might not quite sit right, it might not quite be the right snare, but over time you become conditioned to that snare, and actually it's okay, because sometimes you can, honestly I've seen grown men and women cry over their snare. Is that the right snare? Honestly, and I know how that feels, but in the end it's a snare. And you can just get used to it, It might not be the perfect snare, and obviously you shouldn't compromise your quality or what you want, but at the same time it's just perception, and it can really cripple the creative flow if you sweat over that stuff too much. So the boiling pot, and you can start over, sometimes it's a 2-bar loop, the art of the loop. If you can get a really cool 2-bar loop that's a very simple phrase or a simple kind of a thing that's just doing its thing that can be looped over and over and not get boring, like techno. Techno is amazing. You get the right techno producers, they can take the most simplest loop and loop it for 9 minutes with barely any changes, but it always sounds interesting because they've nailed that loop. There's a documentary that was on one of the BBC, might have been 6 or something, Radio 6, but it's called The Art of the Loop, and I know that the audio's on SoundCloud somewhere, and it goes into how kind of we resonate as humans with repetition and stuff like that. Even classical music comes back around in the end. It's all a big loop, but if you can, with dance music, people like, especially on the dance floor, if you're making stuff for the dance floor, people like simple, kind of catchy things to lock into, some grooves and stuff. So sometimes my boiling pot loop is very, very short and simple, and then it will progress if there's a chord progression or anything like that.